أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وأهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين. In the name of Allah, the most merciful, the most beneficent. Peace be with you, dear viewers, and welcome to Rafida, a Shia Islamic hub that aims to introduce to the world the hidden treasures chosen by Allah to guide humanity until the end of time, namely the final messenger, Prophet Muhammad, and his pure progeny, the Ahlul Bayt, peace and blessings be upon them all. Rafida, based in the UK's capital, London, is for all and at the service of anyone. Through this initiative, we aim to invite Muslims to return back to the truly peaceful Islam, according to the teachings of Ahlul Bayt, the holy Prophet's household, peace and blessings be upon them all, and to enlighten those who have not yet embraced Islam regarding these luminous lights of guidance and pinnacles of human existence. Firstly, the channel's name, Rafida, is one that encapsulates our entire ideology, methodology, and practice. Theologically and historically rich, the Arabic word Rafida essentially translates to rejectionists or rejectors. The singular, i.e., one rejector, is a Rafidi. This encompasses the rejection of tyranny, the rejection of oppression, terrorism, and evil, the rejection of distortion, corruption, fabrication, and falsehood. In the past, and until today, unfortunately, the term Rawafid has been used as a derogatory term by those who bear enmity towards the Shia, while the grammatically correct term is in fact Rafida, which is the name that has been given to us by our Imams, peace and blessings be upon them. These terms are used as an attempt to diminish the Shia for rejecting the self-proclaimed caliphates of Abu Bakr, Umar, and Uthman. But however much they use the name in a derogative manner, it cannot change. It will never change its meaning that we hold so very dear to our own hearts. The Imams of Ahlul Bayt, peace and blessings be upon them all, the rightful heirs to the Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him and his family, have informed us of the illustrious roots of the term and explained how the Rafida are in fact those who reject criminality, evil, in all its forms. How have they done this? We will clarify this by mentioning this narration reported by Allama al-Majlisi in his Bihar al-Anwar. You will find this in volume 65, page 97. On the authority of Abu Basir, who said, I said to my master Abu Ja'far al-Baqir, peace and blessings be upon him, Master, they call us a name by which those in power have made it lawful to shed our blood, usurp our wealth, and oppress us. The Imam replied, and what is that name? I, the narrator, said, they call us the Rafida. So the Imam said, 70 men from amongst the army of the Pharaoh, Rafadu, i.e. rejected the Pharaoh, and joined the Prophet Musa, also known as Moses, peace and blessings be upon him. And in the nation of Musa, there was not a group more knowledgeable, God-fearing, and pious, and who possessed more severe love towards Prophet Harun, peace and blessings be upon him, also known as Aaron, than these 70 men themselves. It was for this reason that the nation of Moses called themselves the Rafida. Notice also how in this narration when they came to the Imam asking him, they call us this name. By this name, it is okay for them to shed our blood when they find out that we are called, or we are the Rafida. Notice the Imam does not stop this person from using this name. Rather, he encourages him and shows him the roots and the reasoning behind this name. He does not say, please do not use this name as it may cause you harm. Showing you that also, even for the Imams, as some may argue that the Imams would use taqiyya and they would always bring this excuse of taqiyya. In this particular narration, the Imam goes totally opposite of what the typical Shi'i may be thinking in his head, and actually persuades this person to use this term and shows him the meaning behind it. In either case, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reveals to Moses saying, affirm this name in the Torah, for I, Allah, have chosen it for your nation. The Imam goes on to say, and this name, O Abu Basir, has also been given to you, the Shia. Therefore, the Rafida feel that it is their obligation and right to present to the world the teachings and guidance that the religion of Islam, the religion of Almighty Allah, has to offer. This religion is that which is able to present to the world the solutions for all difficulties. It is able to provide a justice system that would keep our societies in a state of peace and well-being. It is able to provide an economical system that would eradicate poverty altogether and ensure abundance for all. It would provide the cures and ailments for the exponential spread of mental health issues that we are, of course, experiencing today. This religion is not only the one religion, it is the one solution that can rid the world of the fallacies of the unintellectual and inconsistent worldview of atheism. But perhaps the most controversial topic in regards to Rafida, or the Rafida, is our stance against the historical figures revered by those known today as Sunni Muslims. In particular, the group of individuals that first introduced the notion of so-called Islamic terrorism, who are the founding fathers of the so-called Sunni Caliphate, the likes of which include Abu Bakr, Uthman, Muawiyah, Yazid, Khalid ibn al-Walid, Abu Hurairah, in addition to the two treacherous wives of the Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, and his pure family. Aisha and Hafsa, of course, whom Allah has promised damnation in the Quran. The Rafida have always rejected tyrants, such as Abu Bakr, Umar, Uthman, and in our time, we do not recognize a single government on the face of the earth as a so-called Sunni government or a so-called Shi'i government. We do not recognize any of them as a truly Islamic government. At the center of our rejectionist ideology, and one of our principal foundations, is the open rejection of any corruption under any banner and any name. Particularly if that banner or that name chooses to raise the flag of Islam. We wish to show to the world that the root cause for this Islamic, or rather a non-Islamic terrorism we see around us today, is the inherent ideological belief of those who call themselves Sunni. Due to this stance, countless groups across the world have worked hard to silence this message. But us, the Shia, the Rafida, refuse to be silenced or mold our religion to suit the preferences of others. Be it the people who call themselves Sunni, the Shia, or anyone else for that matter, no matter how much we are threatened, attacked, or even killed, we will continue practicing and standing up for our right of freedom of speech. And every free man and woman who stand up for peace, fairness, and equality must, and we repeat this, every free man and woman must stand up for what we are calling for today. Now, it must be noted that we hold absolutely no hatred or animosity towards the general population of those known as Sunni Muslims. In fact, it is quite the contrary. We hold a deep love for them, just as we do for any innocent human being, and we will explain this. It is due to this very love we have for them that we feel obligated to bring forward our historical analysis and invite them to the ark of salvation. That is the understanding of Islamic, or the understanding of Islam altogether, according to the purified Ahlul Bayt, peace and blessings be upon them. Imagine you have a friend or a family member who is walking into a pit of fire. He is walking into a pit that he cannot save himself from. Every sane human being would say that it is their duty to stop this friend or to stop this family member or anyone that they may care about, or any human being for that matter, to stop them from falling into that pit. It is their right as a human being to be able to guide this person or to warn this person from where he is going. This is exactly the kind of thing that we talk about. Had this person have had love for this human being who is walking into this pit, surely he would warn him. Surely if we have love for the people who call themselves Sunni, we believe we are on the right path. We believe they are walking into a very dangerous pit that could lead them, in the worst case, it could lead them into the hellfires, it could also lead them into terrorist acts. So if we claim that we actually love those who call themselves Sunni, it is our duty to warn them. We know that it is definitely untrue to claim that all those who call themselves Sunni Muslims advocate, promote, or call for terrorism. And we in no way promote such a message. However, what we are saying is that their historical, and 3 lines must be put under these words now because they are always misconcepted. Their historical and religious texts are infested with heavy terroristic influences, even if most are not aware of it, which is actually exactly the case. Whether others agree or disagree with our understanding of Islamic history, it is widely understood that discussion in either case and debates regarding opposing views is fundamental for human progress. So there is no room for groups or individuals to claim that we are wrong for speaking our mind. Anyone who does such a thing is attempting to put an end to the universally accepted humanitarian principle of freedom of speech. As long as one is not inciting violence, one should be free to provide his conclusions to others in order that they may contribute to the development of mankind. These individuals that are giant role models for those who refer to themselves as Sunni, namely Abu Bakr, Umar, Uthman, and Aisha, etc., are the very individuals that those who call themselves Sunni refer to so they may understand their religion itself. Our bold and certain claim is that this group of tyrants, murderers, and criminals are responsible for the very terrorist attacks here at home, in the West, and across the world. They are the founding fathers of the poisonous Salafi and Wahhabi movements that until today manipulate the old, and radicalize the young. We can prove that the teachings, books, and revered historical figures of so-called Sunni Islam are undoubtedly the direct inspiration for the emergence of these terrorist groups, such as ISIS, al-Qaeda, Taliban, Boko Haram, and their likes. And unless we academically tackle this ideology instead of military action alone, then the emergence of terrorist groups will forever continue, for its ideology will live on. To eradicate terrorism, we must eradicate its root ideology. Surely, it is somewhat hypocritical of one who calls himself Sunni to condemn ISIS, for example, for burning alive a Jordanian pilot, yet on the other hand revere the tyrant Abu Bakr, who would burn alive those he saw apostates, as well as his daughter Aisha, who wasn't much better, who ordered the slow beheading of 400 men. How about Umar? Maybe Umar was slightly better. How about Umar ibn al-Khattab, the second so-called Sunni caliph? This is a man who wiped out an entire city named Arab Sus and all its inhabitants, spread racism and bloodshed, and murdered the very daughter of the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him and his family. This is to show you that one of the first, if not the first victim of terrorism in Islam was actually the daughter of the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon them. Imagine what a role and what responsibility we have as Shia, as Rafida, as Muslims, to show the nation of what misconception has come upon them today. That as soon as they hear the name, the word of Allah, for example, the word of Islam, immediately they start thinking of negative things and of terrorism. When of course, as we have already mentioned, the first victims of terrorism in so-called Islamic terrorism, or rather non-Islamic terrorism, were actually Muslims themselves, and the best of Muslims. Should we consider the well-known and often well-spoken about Khalid ibn al-Walid, as he is made out to be today? Endless families name their children after this very man. There isn't a single person who calls himself Sunni in the past and present, but that reveres Khalid ibn al-Walid. This is only because they aren't aware of the murderous nature. I ask everyone to spend some time reading and discovering these facts for themselves, and not to take our word for it alone. What a mess the Muslims find themselves in today. Handing over such villainous role models, not only to themselves but also to their children. And then they wonder why their children fly off to join terror gangs in the Middle East and so on and so forth. Or wonder why they wake up every morning with a Muslim on the headline, a so-called Islamic terrorist attack. They'd rather go ahead and blame the media, for example, blame all the hidden agendas, rather than take a look at what poison their scholars have been feeding them and their children. Of course, again, we clarify that there's other people to blame. For example, the media. The media has an equal blame, if not more, for portraying terrorism, as if terrorism itself is solely by the hands or in the hands of Muslims. And as if they're responsible, i.e. the Muslims are responsible for the majority of terror attacks around the world. When in fact it is clear that terror acts are committed by various religious sects, various types of people, sects, religions, and all the rest of it. And a typical example of these games that the media chooses to play is that anytime you see a terrorist act committed by someone who commits to Islam or subscribes to Islam or considers himself a Muslim, straight away on the headline, usually on the headline, not even on the story itself, you see the title, a Muslim man committed such and such acts. On the other hand, when it is someone who is not a Muslim or does not consider himself a Muslim, someone who is an atheist or a Christian or any other sect, you do not see them mention what religion he is at all. And you see this same bias, not only when it comes to religion, also race. Also, they feel the need to mention a black man has robbed this, or a black man has done this, a black individual. They do not see the need necessarily to mention when it is an Englishman, for example, has committed this. Or I personally haven't read in the headlines, a white man has robbed this store. I haven't. They usually label these kind of people as a criminal, an insane man, a murderer, a killer. They feel no need to mention his race or what religion he is. So their bias only with religion, it is also with the race. In each case, those who call themselves Sunni and condemn ISIS on the basis that establishing an Islamic caliphate through violence is un-Islamic, and at the same time hold a deep love for individuals such as Abu Bakr, Umar, Aisha, are in reality living in a paradoxical state. These beloved historical figures of theirs established their caliphate and maintained power over it through exactly the same, if not worse, methods of ISIS. You cannot support, it is not sane to support one of these and reject the other. It is this very support that permits and inspires beheadings, burning people alive, massacring children, for example in Pakistan, suicide bombings on the London transport, and murdering people on the streets. These historical individuals must be criminalized. In the same way Hitler has been criminalized. We, as the Rafida, believe that the Islam of Ahlul Bayt, peace and blessings be upon them, is the absolute truth, and that the path of Ahlul Bayt is that of the Messenger of Allah, peace and blessings be upon them all. We reject calls of violence towards absolutely any innocent human being, or any innocent being for that matter, or any innocent living thing, even when it comes to, for example, plants. If you read back, if you revise the Islamic history and what the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him and his family, he even had words to protect, imagine, to even protect the plants, to protect the ants. And he used to ban and he used to severely despite people who would commit such things, who would burn the nature, for example, who would kill any living thing, any living being without any reason. And we also believe in peaceful coexistence with the entire world, no matter what one's creed, religion, doctrine, race, ethnicity. We wish for a society of non-violence, a society of compassion and mutual respect for all, where a Shia community and its contrasts can engage in healthy academic dialogue with one another, where churches, synagogues, temples, and all places of worship are protected, and all humans are protected, and where terrorism in the name of Islam in particular has no leg to stand on, for its radical ideology. Again, we put 3 lines under this. For its radical ideology has collapsed, God willing. Imagine what a goal this would be for the whole world, not only for the Muslims. For those who are not close-minded, and for those who are intellectual enough to know that one should not dismiss a claim until they have received and pondered over the evidence. We ask you today to ponder over the evidence with us and to join us whilst we introduce to you the Rafida's worldview and where we stand in this absolute chaos of the 21st century. Peace be with you, dear viewers, and I hope you join us again soon. We thank Allah, the Almighty, for His blessings, and may the blessings of Allah be upon the Messenger, Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him and his family, and may the damnations be upon all their enemies. Walhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وأهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين واللعنة الدائمة على أعدائهم أجمعين.